Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. I'm Samantha, and I am here to announce a new type of video series that I'm going to be doing, which is a new way I'm actually incorporating a TBR into my videos again. And I created my own TBR game using my tarot decks. And this TBR game isn't just for picking books that I want to read each month. I'm also going to use it as like adding new projects, whether I haul or unhaul anything and things like that. But let me just get into my plans for the TBR game. Each month I have 3 different tarot decks that I can use and 2 oracle decks. Currently one of the oracle decks is MIA somewhere in my house, but who knows where that is. But each month I'll choose one of my decks and shuffle from them and choose out cards, and then based off of the meanings and whether the cards are upright or reverse will determine what type of card or prompt I get for the book that I'm going to read. And each prompt has been assigned to each card, and depending on whether it's reversed or upright will determine what the meaning or like keywords that I want to look for in those types of books. So for example, if I pull the World card, I have it set for an epic fantasy plus holobook because it means balance and evolution and movement. The fulfillment and unity that the card represents is not one that is static but changing and eternal. But if it ends up being reversed, I will still read an epic fantasy, but I have to read one where the world is not balanced and things are like in total disarray and things like that. And instead of hauling a book, I will unhaul a book or unhaul something that I don't plan on using anymore. I'm not gonna strictly have my hauling and unhauling to books only because I only have so much space, and I do live with another human being who has his own hobbies. So hauling can go for any crafty stuff, books, video games, witchy stuff, anything like that. Same thing with unhauling as well, just to kind of keep my collection of things kind of balanced a bit. But in each, like I said, each card has its own type of prompts and meanings, but the minor cards, the suit decks like coins, wands, swords, and cups, they have an additional meaning behind those. They'll have like a secondary kind of like prompt for them. Like with wands, I'll assign, if I get a card that I draw a card with those, any wand cards I have, well, I have to choose a new knitting project to add. I've been pretty good about not starting a bunch of projects lately, so this might be kind of putting myself up for disaster a little bit, so we'll see how it goes. But my one main goal with my crochet and knitting goals is try to work more from my stash and to whittle down what stash I have. I have an entire closet full of fabric and yarn that I would like to get through. So I'm hoping that incorporating my crafty projects in here would help me with that. And also with the major cards, along with certain prompts, I also have like finish a project. And with finish a project, I could pick like a small like sewing project or something that I can easily finish within a day. I would include that with it. I hope I'm making sense when it comes to this. But wands, I will add a new like knitting project. Cups and I believe pinnacles. Yes, pinnacles. I'll add a card, and with those, that will be when my oracle decks get used. Anytime I have to add a card, I'll be drawing from my oracle decks and be adding a book to my TBR that way. And then with swords, I'll be adding a crochet project. I originally thought about maybe having Pinnacles just reading library books, but I do that a lot anyway, so I'll just use it as another like drawing a card type of prompt. So that's the basic gist of my game, and I already went ahead and pulled my cards for the month, and I'll stick in the clips here. Okay, so for the very first game, I'm going to use my very first tarot deck to shuffle from. Now granted, I'm not entirely too sure if this is a full deck or not because it came in a subscription box that I got like years ago. But this is from a Mind, Body, and Spirit deck. The cards are pretty traditional looking, they're easy to use reading card rides, but I'm going to do a 3-card spread. I'm just going to shuffle them. And the first card that jumped out, Queen of Swords reversed. Next card. Eight of Cups reversed. And last of this deck, the Queen of Cups. If I can get these framed, that would be awesome. There we go. Those are the 3 cards for this pull. Okay, so 2 of the cards from the normal deck had another pull card option, and with the pull card options, I will do a draw and card from my Oracle deck. This video's Oracle deck, the 2 cards are going to come from my Moonology deck. And let's see, let me shuffle. First card. A new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra. And second card, communication is key, new moon in Gemini. Okay, so the first card that I drawn was the Queen of Swords reversed. This is my sister picks a book prompt, and I set for her something that is quick and easy to read, because with the Queen of Swords, it means complexity, perceptiveness, and clear-mindedness. But with it being reversed, I took the keyword complexity and reversed it, so something simple. I also gave her the prompt of something that's like pretty easy to read and quick to read, and she chose Snapdragon by Kat Leia. I'm not sure. It's a graphic novel, a middle grade novel that she has read, and she really enjoyed. And with this as well, since it is a swords card, I have to add a crochet project, and I went ahead and chose that as well. And I'll be making the Higher Love bookmarks designed by Vortexia. That's the Ravelry username. I'm not sure how we'll be able to see that. If it doesn't come out clear on the screen, I'll take the picture and post it here as well. But it's just a simple crochet bookmark I should get done pretty quickly. So, and that is for the Queen of Swords reversed. Next card is Eight of Cups reversed. And that is, Eight of Cups is, the prompt is someone else's DNF, I have to also draw a card, with it being a cup card, and it's also an unhaul. Eight of Cups usually means walking away, disillusionment, and leaving behind. So normally if it was upright, I would choose a book that I'm not really looking forward to reading or have no interest in reading. Something that I agree with the person who DNF'd the book, but I will try to attempt to read said book. But since it's reversed, I'm going to read a book that I am pretty sure that I will enjoy and I like. So draw a card for that, but instead of unhauling a book or unhauling something, I will haul something. But for someone else's DNF, Elliot Brooks, she did not enjoy the From Blood and Ash series and had DNF'd it. I read this one, I think it was last year, and absolutely loved it, and I want to reread the whole series in time for it. Oh, The War of Two Queens is already out, but I'm waiting for my library to get a copy that I requested. So I'm wanting to reread the series along with the prequel as well. So I found it as a good time and good reason to read this series again in time for my new TBR game. And I haven't decided what I want to haul yet. I might end up treating myself to a kit from The Sims, but we'll see. But that is the Eight of Cups reversed. And the keyword that I got, I decided for Eight of Cups is gratification. So I know I love the Blood and Ash series, so it's definitely instant gratification for me. And since I had to draw a card, I drew a card from my Moonology Oracle deck, and the card is a new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra. And since it says a new romantic cycle begins, I'm going to apply my book club's late night bookworming book club pick for April as the Spanish Love Deception. Since it's a romance book, a contemporary romance book, I decided to pair it with this card. Since I'm going to have to read the book in April anyways, I might as well read it for this book, for this card. And the last of the 3 card spread that I drew is Queen of Cups. This is a Queen of Cups is a compassionate card. Brings calm and comfort, and with that I associate rereads with that. And with comfort and compassion, what I normally think of when I think of a calming reread is rereading Harry Potter. Even though the author is not my most liked person at the moment, I love Harry Potter. Obviously you can tell my paperback copies are well loved, and I've been picking up each book in the series on and off throughout the year to do a reread. So Prisoner of Azkaban is the next one up for the comfort reread. And since it is a Cups card, I did have to draw another Oracle card, and I drew New Moon in Gemini. It says communication is key. And for that, I took the communication part of this card and kind of ran with it and chose The Laments by George Hagen. This is a pretty old advanced reader copy that I got from my library, my local library's book sale years ago. From what I read on the Goodreads synopsis, it's a familial kind of work of fiction. It follows a family, and with family there's communication. If it may not be the best communications at times, I don't know all too much about it except for that it's set in the 1950s with it says in the South Rhodesia in the 1950s, a waif with a paper-thin heart is given to Howard and Julia Lamnett in exchange for their own infant who is lost in a bizarre maternity ward mishap. The arrival of this child, named Will for his determination to survive, propels the family across 3 continents in search of their place in the world. As the Lamnets fitfully move from Africa to England to suburban New Jersey, one wonders where will they ever belong. So, obviously communication is key when it comes to things like that, especially when an infant is lost in a maternity ward. So, I've been meaning to get to this book for years already, and it's off of my own shelf, so I believe that is a good fit. But yeah, and in total, my stack for April isn't too bad. Granted, I chose the chunky books because I have actually gotten, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it over here because I have it zoomed in, but I have 6 books. It's technically 7. No, 8, because I don't have Snapdragon yet. That's supposed to come in from the library, and I'm waiting on my hold from the library with Spanish Love Deception. So far 8 books that I would like to get to at this month. And honestly, if I catch up with my reading for this month, I might even start one of those like at the end of this month in March. And I'm also still reading The Green Witch, your complete guide to the natural magic of herbs, flowers, essential oils, and more. I am like dipping in and out of this, with it being a nonfiction, like witchy book. I use it for study, for my practice, and I try to at least do a chapter a day, or at least a good chunk every other day. And I have a feeling I'm going to be reading through this. Still within April as well, just trying to take as many notes as I can and learn and remember as much as I can. So that kind of makes 9. And there's 2 readathons going on in April. The Magical Readathon is starting in April too, like the month-long version. And Cassidy is hosting Realmathon. And I'm hoping to get some reading done for that. I just don't have my TBR planned for those because I plan on kind of joining as I can and reading and whatever I pick up during the month, assigning books based on that. I am in, I think, the realm Bailey. I'm not sure. I'm probably butchering the name. If so, I'm sorry, Cassidy. But it's reading fantasy romance, and since I plan on reading From Blood and Ash, that I'm good to go with that. So, but yeah, and I also have some plans in the work for my own readathon come May. I'll link the Twitter handle down below. Go check that out. I try to post every day some teasers or some things that I plan on incorporating in with the readathon. And yeah, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.